You say the word ramen and people know what it is.
A gentleman by the name of Momofuku created the instant noodle.
When instant ramen came out, right, it spread all over the world.
Once cup ramen, the cup noodle came, and then all the people can afford to eat when they were just hungry.
Since then, in the past few years anyway, instant noodle has fallen by the wayside, except for obviously in struggling students in college, etc. The rise of fresh ramen now has really taken the world by storm, not just America. So you'll see ramen shops popping up everywhere all over the world.
Like the early 90s, I was back working in Tokyo, and it was just like you see now. You would get some of these ramen restaurants would have huge lines, huge, like 30, 40 people. You'd walk by the restaurant, there'd be 30, 40 people. People started bringing these ramen restaurants that were very popular in Japan, right? And so people started opening up here in the United States. It's kind of exotic, it's different, like ethnic food, but it's familiar because everyone knew what the word meant ahead of time.
The convenience of how fast food came around and then how top ramen became popular is that it fits the same thing. It was fast, it was quick, it was easy, and it was very, very inexpensive. Anything that was fast was perceived as good. Now, at that time, were those foods any good for you? No, we didn't know. Over the years, fortunately, we have gotten smarter as a culture.
There is this whole turning back away from McDonald's, away from fast food, and more into artisan products. People want to know now where their food comes from, who's making it, what are the ingredients, or reading the ingredient list. That is one reason why ramen is being cooked as an artisan food.
And where it's gone from there is now becoming more of an art form on how to make the best bowl of ramen, or an expression from a chef or a business owner on what kind of ramen they want to introduce. And that whole process can be viewed as more of a way of art versus cooking.
Vegetarian, vegan lifestyle.
As with most food products, there is an art to making it fresh.
Soup is one of the most what ramen is.
To make a quality broth of ramen takes many, many hours, anywhere from 10 to 15 hours of boiling bones.
A lot of ramen stores, how they make a soup stock is their own store secret. A lot of stores would not share those things.
Secondly, then, it's the seasoning and it's the toppings, we call it. A noodle can be interchangeable. For example, in certain regions, they have longer, wavier noodles. In other regions are shorter, curlier noodles. The bowl is laid out in a very pretty way, but it's not all jumbled together. It's got its distinct portions. Once you start eating it, you should be blending, you should be mixing all the stuff together so that it becomes, every bite becomes the same throughout the entire bowl. The experience of eating the whole bowl should be the same throughout the bowl.
It's customary and in fact actually almost rude if you don't slurp. To make a slurping sound in America is just so darn rude. People look at you like, who taught that guy how to eat food? And yet in Japan, if you don't slurp, you're seen as odd.
The main thing you see people talk about when they talk about why you should wait in line for an hour at this restaurant as opposed to just walking into this other ramen restaurant down the street, is because it's the broth. Because it is based off of this broth, that lends it to chefs, people who want to take it to a higher level.
The thing about ramen too is you go to one ramen shop and you get one ramen. You can't go to another ramen shop and get the same ramen. It just doesn't exist. Every shop has its own take on traditional dishes, etc. And so every experience in a new ramen shop is a new experience.
Food as being something that defines cultures is really maybe the most important thing. It's tied up in people's survival. It helps define men's roles are, what women's roles are, and it's also such a critical part to heritage. America has been such an open border country, and you see so many different cultures coming here, immigrating here, and introducing their cuisines to America, and then they take off. That is American food, is the whole cross-cultural mix of things.
I do believe that there is a ramen revolution happening not only in the Bay Area, but in this country and all over the world. The world has become a smaller place. I don't know anyone in college these days that don't spend any time abroad. People are understanding there's other food out there. There's cultures and food to experience from all over the world that are so fascinating. Why would you not want to try it?